Welcome to FitBody Lifestyle, the show where we dive deep into the world of fitness, health, business, relationships, and the art of living a balanced life. I'm Jami.
And I'm Greg, and we're here to give you the benefit of our experiences in the fitness and bodybuilding industry, the corporate world, running a business, personal development, and building healthy relationships.
Whether you're sweating it out in the gym, hustling in your business, or seeking balance in your everyday life, you're in the right place.
So lace up those sneakers and grab that water bottle, and let's get ready to transform our minds, our bodies, and our lives. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of FitBody Lifestyle. And I'm here with my very humorous wife, Jami. Hi, say hi.
Hi, Jami.
We have a very special visitor today with us who's been with us through the week. And welcome, Kristen Bennett, Doctor of Physical Therapy and our resident body worker. We'll just call it that.
Perfect. I love that. I love that.
She's a detective.
She's puzzle worker. Yeah.
Yes.
And today's episode, we are going to talk about selecting the right body worker. And that's, I will tell you that we get a lot of questions frequently. This is one of the questions we get a lot, which is how to, and I would love to tell people, well, I'll tell you what, we have an algorithm that will point you to the right, or chat GPT that. It just doesn't work that way so easy. So you are somebody that's in high demand. And if people come to Arizona, highly encourage you to seek out Kristen. And we'll talk about how to connect you later. But in the meantime, how can you help the people listening and watching how to select their body worker?
Yeah. So a couple steps. I think social media has made that a positive in some aspects now. Most people kind of post about it or have connections to it. They tag their athletes post about them. So doing a little bit of research within your area, kind of connecting with gyms or other professional athletes, things like that, like other competitors in your area, seeing who they go to. That's a really good first step. I know that's how one of the girls, that's how Fit Body Fusion actually got hooked up with me. One of the girls asked one of the gym owners, did they just moved here? They're like, who do I go to Bodywork? And he was like, so he started to say something. He's like, well, wait a minute. What are you looking for? And she was like, I have injuries. I need things fixed. He was like, okay, this is the person you're going to go to. And he referred her to me. And then one person came and saw me, and it kind of became this cascade of, nope, that's the person. And that's how we kind of got connected. But sometimes first is asking the question to a gym owner or another competitor in the area. That's a good first step. Kind of looking at their social media, seeing if they have things about it. And most people nowadays, even on myself, I have physical therapists in my bio. You'll kind of get some details from people to see, are they credentialed? Do they have a degree in this? Do they have certifications? Kind of getting a little bit of information on the person before you even make your next decision, right? If you're like, I'm totally lost, I have no idea what to do, every state has a physical therapy board too, so you can search physical therapy board, who's in the valley, do they do outpatient, kind of things like that. So that's another little venue you can go to.
Are there credentials or certifications that are more
advantageous?
Yes. Thank you.
I mean, doctor, physical therapy, chiropractor, those are specific schoolings that you have to go through to get, right? And then you can have people who, with even in training, they're CSCS certified. That's the top tier of training certifications that you can have. So there are certain degrees. You might then see licensed massage therapist. And even with that, you can have chains within, they specialize, and most of them will list specializations in craniosacral or sports rehab. There are specific things within that realm that I would look for. People can be certified in cupping and scraping as well, so they've gone to schooling for that. And most people will be able to communicate that to you. Say you reached out to someone you weren't sure, you saw they do body work. Hey, do you have any certifications? And I think that some people get nervous to ask the question because they're like, well, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be. I don't think you'd ever have a problem asking a doctor you'd ask them what they do before
Yeah.
you go see them, right? You want to make sure they're able to help you with the problem that you're going to go see. So just having those conversations like,
Wait,
hey,
I met with an orthopedist. I wanted to see an eye doctor.
yeah, exactly. Right. So you have those conversations. That's it, but it seems kind of funny in the other worlds that are not so. I'm a heart doctor, right?
Yeah.
So people will come, they say like, oh, as I said earlier, like they want to get a massage. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm a physical therapist. I do X, Y, and Z. I make it really clear to people like what I offer as services. So just asking them, hey, I'm interested in getting some body work. I haven't done this before. Or I've only had cupping before in the past. What are your modalities that you do to help me if I come see you? I don't think anyone's going to have a problem answering those questions. That's a good base to start with.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because I do think communication has got to be number one. And I know a lot of times people are shy. Even me, I can get that way sometimes. And I know I had a shoulder surgery a few years ago and I did some research and found a physical therapist and ended up, it wasn't the right physical therapist for me based on my training and everything background. I found somebody who was kind of used to working with kind of, I don't want to say a regular person, but like somebody that didn't have the same athletic background. So I wasn't being challenged enough to like recover and that's okay. It's like you can try one and go, okay, this didn't really work, and then find another one. But I love the idea of, especially because now you're right with social media, you can even, if there's someone you're interested in seeing, like reach out to some of their clients that they've posted and say, hey, how was your experience? Even like with coaches, same thing. I tell people, if you're looking for a coach, like talk to somebody who they've coached before.
Yeah.
I would want to talk to one of your patients first before, you had a great experience. Okay, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And then come in and ask you questions.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that's been great about social media is the ability and availability of communication and kind of finding out information, right? So even within the FBF team, one of the athletes will post about me and then they'll reach out like, hey, does she take people? Like if I visited, because it's a trusted source that they're getting information. So even if you follow athletes in your area and you're like, I'm just going to ask them like, hey, did you like that service? What kind of stuff do they do? I've been asked questions like that, and I'm happy to help anyone that I can in getting them into the right treatment. And then another thing is, say you don't necessarily know someone in another state, but now you have a resource, me. That's at least one that you have. You can reach out to me. I have no problem on my social media, and I have coworkers and colleagues all around the country, and I can try to help you get you situated in someone that I think would be a good benefit or a good fit for you in that area. That's another way. Sometimes just asking the question, you'll find a lot of resources with that.
Interested in changing your life or stepping on stage? Join FitBody Fusion today.
Experience the FitBody Fusion difference with tools, knowledge, and community support to reach your healthy and sustainable lifestyle.
We guide thousands on their fitness journeys, from seasoned athletes to those who are simply seeking a healthier life.
Our expert coaches provide personalized plans and unwavering support, empowering you to thrive.
FitBody Fusion is more than just training. It's a community. We understand the challenges of solo fitness journeys, which is why we foster a supportive environment where members encourage and motivate each other.
Join the FitBody Fusion community today and unlock your full potential.
Head to fitbodyfusion.com to sign up for a free consultation.
And do it today. Well, let's pull on that thread a little bit, because I do think, I go back to thinking about when I've had a number of orthopedic procedures, and I remember in the interview process, and the hard part, I think, one of the things as I go back and think about that process is that I wanted to get back to activity as soon as possible. And oftentimes it's hard to get in to see a doctor to actually interview them. But the one thing that I was really focused on is I want somebody who's a sports orthopedist, not somebody who's just doing, geriatric orthopedics, and no disrespect to that, but I want somebody who specializes in getting athletes back into the athletic endeavor that they want to be in. So I really look for doctors that handle sports teams, professional sports teams and stuff. And I specifically look for those orthopedists because I knew that, okay, these doctors are used to getting them back. I think with physical therapists or body workers, and because I don't want to just limit that to physical therapists, but body work and mental therapy in particular, this is a space where you really want to spend a little bit of time interviewing the person that you're looking for, because there is a trust aspect of it, there is a relationship aspect to it, and knowing that you're with somebody that, I mean, in surgery, man, I'm out. I'm under anesthesia.
Yeah.
I'm not having a relationship with my orthopedist as
Yeah.
he's cutting into my shoulder. But
Yep.
with a physical therapist or a body worker, I am having a relationship with them, and I need to have somebody, or a therapist, a mental therapist. I want to make sure that this person I'm talking to is somebody that I can tell everything to, because if I can't tell them everything, I'm not going to get to the work of the work. And the same is true with physical therapy. And I'm sure this frustrates you, is that you can't fix a problem that the patient doesn't tell you about.
Yeah.
So if they come to you for something and they're embarrassed by it, or they don't want to tell you, it's impossible for you to do your job. As a coach, we can only do as good a job as the athlete's willing
Information we're
to
given.
give us the information,
Yeah.
right? It can't fit. As a lawyer, I couldn't fix a problem for a client if they didn't tell me that this was the problem that they wanted me to fix. And if they're embarrassed about telling me that, well, I'm sorry, but I can't fix the problem if you don't tell me what it is. So
Absolutely.
I think that interview process is really something that is important in this space a lot. I mean, I'd say that's maybe the number one thing.
Yeah, and I think I have people that do it all the time. They're like, hey, can I just jump on a call with you before I schedule an appointment? I just want to make sure like we're on the same page of what we're going to get. I'm like, absolutely. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure you feel comfortable to get into it, and more often than not, they're like, yeah, that sounds like what I want. So they come in, they get a session, and we kind of work together. It's not like one session's going to fix everything, right?
Right.
You'll get a reduction in pain, but we're
It's
going
a
to have to
process.
work together. And the second you start building that connection, that trust, that familiarity, the openness, healing happens in all realms. So if you are like, there's no way I can go to this person, I could never tell them what I have going on, that's probably not going to be someone that you're going to be able to work with long term, because you can't tell them the problems you have going on, right? Like if you're having some pain in an uncomfortable place to talk about, right? Like you're getting pelvic floor pain. Well, that's plays huge in training and glute and but you're too scared to tell the person that's helping you, hey, I'm getting this weird pain. They're not going to be able to give you the full treatment that's going to help you get to your goal that you're trying to get. So I think you nailed it on the head with that, like a level of comfortability and familiarity with the person to feel like, okay, I can open up to them. I trust them. I know they have my best interest at heart. They're doing whatever they can to help me. That communication. And I've never heard any practitioner, even all my coworkers that I've gone to school with, never turn down like a vetting call or just to see how things are going to go.
Because for you as a practitioner, and I'm speaking from the coaching standpoint as well, if I have an athlete who I know is going to tell me everything, and that also means that, hey, this isn't working for me. Okay, that means giving me the complaints of I don't like this, because the alternative is, okay, they don't tell me that they don't like something, they leave and they say, oh, this new coach has totally fixed this thing. Well, did you ever tell me about that? And we can ask questions in 150 times, but if you're not willing to disclose, so you as a practitioner, I'm sure that you appreciate somebody I'm betting, and this is just, I'm gonna go out on a limb, that when you have a vetting call, you probably have a better experience as a practitioner and a patient in that relationship than you do with somebody who just comes in cold.
100%. And even that, like, they already have a buy-in and you have a buy-in. There's already a connection that's built, like, hey, this person's really serious. They want to get better and I'm going to do whatever I can to meet that need, right? Like there's already a level of trust that was built even in that call. And then because how boring is it? Even when you like train a client or working with a client, if they don't ever tell you anything, you're kind of just going through the motions. You're like, I can't even give you my best because you're not telling me
you're not giving me your
like
best,
go from here. So it has to be a mutual, like, I'm going to communicate, I'm going to disclose, I'm going to talk to you. If something hurting me, like say you find someone and you're starting to work with them, I really don't like when they do this. Instead of just sitting there and not liking it and leaving and being irritated, hey, I really don't like when you do that. That was uncomfortable when you did this. Giving that communication, practitioners, we don't care. We want to give you the service that you want in whatever's a comfortable situation for you too. If it's more just like, it just hurts because you're poking on my muscle. Okay, well, there's going to be some discomfort as we talked about, but being open in those conversations, like, I really like when you do the scraping. I don't really like that, but I really love the cupping. Is there any way we can do more cupping? My body seems to really respond to it. I feel more relaxed after. The two of you will work together to tailor your best therapy, even if it's, you go to a different practitioners. If you find the right one and you're open with them, you will get so much further than trying to not disclose or not tell them that they're bothering you and just jumping to the next person. You never gave that one person the full chance of like,
Yeah.
okay, let's talk. And if that still doesn't work, by all means, like find another practitioner or whatever to help you.
Well, and I know we had talked earlier before we started too, if somebody were to go to a practitioner and they give that a shot and they come out and they're just looking like they're black and blue and been through the ring. Cause we do see this sometimes. And it's when it takes a month or months to heal from some of the work done. What's the thought process then?
Yeah. I saw a girl, one of my friends, that she had posted just from the competition world, and she was just looked like someone drug her behind a car. Like, it was so black and blue. And you just sit there and you're like, that's just not, there's so many other ways to get treatment and relief that do not involve that. That's going to take so much more time to heal the trauma that was inflicted during that session than the actual pain you went in with. There's a level of inflammation and redness and irritation that we want that promotes healing, and then there's kind of the plateau. We've gone way past it. Like, we are
Point of diminishing returns.
We are past it, and that body is having to work so hard to recover from the trauma that you basically wasted the session for healing the pain and are having to heal something else. And sometimes take more time off because more injury was occurred.
Right.
Yeah,
I wanted to just circle back because I have my own personal experience where I did go to, it was a massage therapist in this case, and I went for deep tissue massage, which is what I typically like to do. That happens to be more relaxing for me for whatever reason.
I'm the same.
I'm like, the deeper they go, the more I'm snoring. It's just, it's the most bizarre thing. But the person was putting so much pressure on my body that it actually caused issue with my rib. And I had a lot of pain with my rib for a period of time. So this is where, making sure that you do speak up if something at the time feels overly painful or wrong. I actually had a client too that she was having a treatment done and they burned her, and I said, didn't you feel it? And she said, oh yeah. And she's like, I just thought that's how it was supposed to feel. Yeah. So I mean, just even if you're asking, is this how it's supposed to feel? This feels like it just really burns. Is this how it's supposed to feel? Or like the pressure is a lot. It's kind of hurting my ribs. So not being afraid to speak up, and then at that point maybe exploring for somebody who's
and even with that, like, I try to give people a heads up before I do. Hey, this is gonna feel, you're gonna get a twitch, you're gonna feel this like TV static burn. Trying to give people, again, that's a level of trust that's built, right? They are telling me, they're educated on what I'm going to be experiencing. They're letting my nervous system kind of find safety in an unfamiliar setting. One of those things that's really important to have is that level of comfort. And if they're not listening to you, they're like, yeah, that's just what it's supposed to be, and you're like, I don't think this is what it's supposed to be. That's when you start making those like other decisions, like, hey, I'm going to find another practitioner. I'm going to ask around. I'm going to do a little bit more research. I'm going to, I didn't really like that scraping technique that person used. I'm going to find someone else that does ART, right? Like, you'll find another modality, and then that person might be doing a bunch of other things. And once you're kind of feel like, if the scraping was the flare up, right? Or you have a trigger now because someone had a bad thing, you find another modality and they might do other things, and they give you that reassurance of, okay, ART works. Now we can maybe we try scraping again with that person. Cause I've had that before with clients. They're like, whatever you do, I don't want to do scraping. And I was like, oh, well, tell me about that. What happened? I was beat up. I felt like that was the most painful thing I've ever done. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, like, that's not what I would do for you. I don't want you to feel that way. And you kind of have those conversations, and they can ease into another treatment and maybe try it again.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you explained that because I've had that exact
Yeah.
situation. So, and I do think that it's important to have somebody who listens because I know our first session we came in, I'm like, not so much on the dry needling right away.
Yeah.
And then we built up to that. And
Yeah.
then, then last time I was like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I love that. And I do think it's important, just like with coaching, and we're the same way. Like, if a coach isn't listening or willing to explain the why or how it's going to feel or what we're going to do, then that might be a signal to maybe this isn't the right person for me.
Yeah.
So like that openness and communication both ways. Like I'm feeling heard, and then I'm also getting the feedback back and the willingness to kind of work with me where I'm at. So I love that. I think that's really helpful.
Okay. We went over time.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No,
Look, we can talk
Kristen,
all day on this stuff.
Trust me when I tell you, nobody listening to this is thinking, "Oh, I wish they would cut this off." They're thinking, "Wow, could they take this longer?" So that just means we're going to have to have
as long
you
as
back
we got
again.
good stuff going on.
Okay, we're going to have you back again,
I
which
would
we
love
will. Until we do, tell people how to connect with you.
Yeah. Go ahead and reach out to me on Instagram. The IG handle is Kristen Bennett, KRISTEN Bennett, BENNETT _IFBB Pro. Shoot me a message in my DMs or just reach out to me. We'll get a way to contact and I can help you however I can.
And I would summarize this fusion hack by telling people, one, research the kind of practitioner you want and be specific with that research. Like look for people who work on bodybuilders, athletes, those kinds of things. Vet the person that you're considering, try them out, but also then make sure that you're going to give feedback to them.
Yeah.
So if there's stuff that you don't like, and part of, I think, a good practitioner, if we talk about that feedback, that last component there, if your practitioner's not really good with the feedback, then they may be the best person in the world, but they may not be the right person for you because
And that's okay.
they need to be responsive to the feedback for you, and some are not. And if that's the case, they may be just super talented. In that orthopedic world, I remember interviewing one of the surgeons, and he was 5-star, had all the credentials and everything. His bedside was sucked, and I didn't feel like he was listening to me at all. And so it may have been a successful procedure, but I didn't feel good with him, and so I went with another person. So I think having a practitioner that's responsive to your feedback and gets you is a component of this that I can't emphasize enough.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, and I think what you said earlier with the vetting thing, if your practitioner is not even willing to have that conversation, or it might be like that's a pretty good.
That's a good
They're not
telltale
willing
sign.
to have a
Yeah.
conversation. They're not really able to dive into this. This might not be the best bet for me.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, leave your reviews. Kristen, thank you. I mean, this has been, these series of episodes have been incredibly profound for me. I feel like I'm smarter, which I need all the smarts I can get, so I appreciate that.
I was going to say, because I'm real smart already, so that's saying a lot.
I'm not saying that at all. The opposite. So everybody remember the 3 B's.
Be good to yourself.
Be good to each other and be safe. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to FitBody Lifestyle. We hope today's episode has left you feeling motivated and equipped to tackle your fitness goals, business challenges, and the daily dance of life. Remember to value progress over perfection. Life's tough enough alone. Find the chosen family around you to help you along the way.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite streaming platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at FitBody Fusion.